I have been waiting for a game like this for a while. So let's dive into this game that I've been playtesting for the last couple of months, ReMemento White Shadow. ReMemento White Shadow is a turn-based RPG gacha based in an open world. The gameplay is very similar to Honkai Star Rail, but the open world is more similar to games like Genshin or if you played Withering Waves. Since this game is currently only available in Korean, although there is some speculation that a global release is soon, it's supposed to be near the end of May, but as of the recording of this video, it's already the 21st of May, and by the time it gets uploaded on YouTube, it's either going to be the 22nd or 23rd of May. And so far, I still haven't seen any pre-download or pre-registration for the game on Google Play Store. They only have had a YouTube comment and a post on their forums or discussion board, whatever you want to call it, for a potential release date on May the 28th. Whether or not that's true, I am not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments below. Regardless, due to the language barrier, a bit of the game's content and experience is beyond my reach, but I still managed to play through most of the game due to my many years of experience playing turn-based gacha games. Moving on, let's talk more about what ReMemento White Shadow has to offer. This game has amazing character designs and a pretty decent story to go along with it. If it weren't for the aforementioned language barrier, I probably would have enjoyed the story more. And if you aren't a story person, or if you just don't like stories and gacha games in general, great news! You can skip the dialogue and even the animated cutscenes, although I don't really recommend it. The cutscenes really are well polished and they look pretty amazing. This game even has silly side activities like fishing, where you can play the fishing minigame, catch said fish and use said caught fish to craft materials for cooking, which is another side activity that honestly doesn't really have much use. It's like cooking in Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. It provides some nice buffs, but it's not really needed to clear any of the game's content. What's different about this game is there's mounts in this game, unlike in Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, and all the mounts I'm showing you off to you right now are free to play obtainable. And as you can see here, these mounts, you can dash on them, and you can also jump as well. And one of my favorite things to do is to see that booty bounce. Who doesn't like good jiggle physics? In fact, here, this mount helps you guys have a better view of the mount system. I meant to say mount system. Yes, definitely a better view of the mount system. Alright, anyways, moving on. Let's move on to the combat system. You have your standard team of 4 characters, and it runs on a MP system very similar to the skill point system in Honkai Star Rail, except in this game you generate 1 MP at the start of a character's turn, regardless of the amount of MP consumption. And the number next to the characters as well as the enemies represents something similar to a toughness bar, like in Honkai Star Rail. Each character has 4 skills, not counting the passive, each with different MP costs. The skill 4, which is often referred to as the ultimate, costs 3 MP and has a cooldown, at least so far based on all the characters I've tested. Alright, next I'm going to go over the character selector banner that every beginner player gets. I don't know if they're going to have this upon launch, it's subject to change of course. And you get to select between these 4 characters that are available here. And I'm going to go over each of these characters very briefly. This first one is a knight of the green element. I'm not sure what, I guess you can just call it Earth, whatever you want to call it. But obviously it is going to be a tank character. This next one kind of looks like a budget Himeko. She's of the debuffer class or mage class, and I believe she is the one I ended up picking for the selector. Moving on, we have quote-unquote budget Ganyu from Genshin. She is a healer of the healer class and blue element. Very useful in my experience. She has kept my team alive quite a bit, so also not a bad selection as well. And the last one is a green element warrior. I did not pick her, but I eventually did end up pulling her from a random temple. I have not got the chance to test her out yet. And now we'll see who I end up selecting. Yeah, as I suspected, I ended up picking the bootleg Himeko. And I have to say, the skill animations and just the animations in this game are absolutely amazing. I love it. There you go. There is my quote-unquote bootleg Himeko. There's also these cube selectors, as I like to call them, where you open them up, and there's a chance that you'll obtain a 5-star of the 5 different elements. I believe this one right here is only moonlights, so light and dark, which is really nice. You get a free one of those from one of the login events. And then this one, you have a chance of getting any of the standard characters and any of the standard moonlight characters as well. So we will see what I end up pulling from the selector here. We're going to go ahead and open up the yellow one or the gold one first that has all the characters, except for maybe the most recent one. And we seem to have gotten a fire character. Oh, it's this one right here with the whip. I believe she was one of the first characters that was launched upon release. They had like her rate up banner, but now she's been moved to the standard banner. So a nice pickup. And now let's open up this cube. It's guaranteed to be a moonlight character. And it seems like it's a light character, and it is the spear dude. Based on my experience, this guy does a lot of damage. He is a gigantic nuke. Here's a few more cubes that I am going to be opening up. Just like before, all the standard characters, or the older RGB characters. It seems like we got another light character. Oh no, I think it's a dupe. Oh, it is a dupe of the spear dude. Dupes in this game are a little bit important. You actually need them to skill up. I'll go over it later. Definitely still not as amazing as pulling a new character, of course. And let's see what this last cube gives us. It seems to be a... Is that water or earth? Oh, yeah, okay. There you go. This is where I ended up pulling the warrior lady from the selector. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to build her up. Alright, now I'm going to go over some of the game's features in-game. Let's start off with the shop. This is your monthly pass, essentially. You get gems, and this is their version of resin or stored energy. Some top-up bonuses that I don't quite understand. Oh, very briefly here. By the way, this is their standard like tickets, and this is the specialized or special star rail passes, their version of it. But a couple of patches ago, the game changed quite a bit. Free-to-play income, as well as resources that were available, were, in my opinion, a downgrade. Before, in this shop, you would be able to get a free summon pretty much every single day. They've since downgraded it to 10 free gems every day, which is, I believe, 1/16 of a pull versus one standard pull every day, which is really great. That's like Epic 7 level of generosity, but then they, for some reason, rolled it back, and I mean, what are you going to do with 10 gems, right? And then this is like every week, I believe, 100 gems. It used to be every week you could buy or get a free specialized ticket or special star rail pass, whatever you want to call it in terms of Honkai star rail terms. But now you only get 100 gems, which is once again not even enough to buy one pull. And I believe they had an even separate tag. You also got the free gems, and it was more than this, every couple of 2 weeks or something along those lines. Basically, players got a lot of free stuff before the patch that happened a couple months ago. So that's why there's a lot of drama going on in the game right now. A lot of players are not happy. Hopefully they don't do this upon global release. They roll back to what they did before on the initial launch of Korea. Because if they keep the game running in the current state it is, I don't think it will last very long, even on global launch. But we'll get more into that later. Let's move on. Oh, the skin shop. This game, for it being less than a year old, has quite a few skins compared to something like Star Rail, which only currently has one, and the game's been out for, what, over 2 years now? Some of these skins, this one's kind of mid. Some of these skins can get pretty, yes. Like, holy God damn level of skin. I might get demonetized for this, Jesus Christ. But you get the idea. They cost real life money, of course. This is like the premium currency that you can only buy with money. Obviously, if you have the money, you like the skins, which some of these are pretty well designed, if I might say so. Some of these are just stupid. Like this one. She's just wearing a large t-shirt. Like, who would want that skin over the default? I mean, I guess unless you don't want to, I don't know, have people judge you in public if you play this game. You can get that skin if you want. Alright, moving on. This is their duplicate system. You get these golden spiral thingies and purple spiral thingies by doing pulls. And I believe also, I'm not sure if you get them from, I think you get them from pulling dupes, actually. It's not just from regular pulls. You have to pull like a duplicate 5-star for the yellow currency and a duplicate 4-star for the purple currency. So obviously it is a lot easier to get duplicates for your 4-star or purple units here, SR characters, and skill them up. And then this brings us to another topic, the skill up in the system. You actually need duplicate characters. So before they gave out, well, they didn't give out, but you could earn character dupes just by grinding the game. You get like a couple of those every week, and you would eventually be able to skill up your characters, even if they were SSRs, all the way up over time. Now, they removed all said ways of being able to get that through free-to-play means, and the only way to get dupes that I know of as of right now is to either pull them through the gacha or pull duplicates of other SSRs and eventually save up this yellow spiral currency thing to buy the duplicate SSR of your choice. Or I think this is an Omni one here at the front here. You can buy that if you want. So yeah, that's pretty bad that the developers decided to do that, to remove the ways of getting duplicates for free-to-play. That's why a lot of players are not happy right now. The SRs, of course, are still very easy to skill up, so there's quite a few strong characters that are SRs. I would recommend building them up. This is just to buy your pulls. This is the, like I said, the special Star Rail passes. This is your standard pulls. And this is energy. Just like any other gacha game, you can refresh energy with gems. I believe there is a limit though. It says 10 out of 10 here, so I'm assuming you can only do this 10 times per day. And then the last part, of course, is just the premium currency that you buy with real money. Like this is your, what do you call it, premium currency, like your gems you can buy summons with, and then this is your currency that's even more premium than that. I don't know why gachas, obviously gachas do this to confuse people. They don't know how much money, to bait them into not knowing how much money they spend at the end of the day. Alright, this next tab is just your quest tab. I'm going to skip over that. The next tab is your tutorial tab, or if you need to, it's basically your tutorial tab. I'm going to skip that as well. This trophy icon here is your achievements, like in Star Rail and Genshin, you get gems for completing certain achievements. Here, we have the Friends tab. This is pretty important, because unlike the other games that I mentioned, like Genshin and Star Rail, your friends actually do matter. You do actually want to fill up your friends list, because you can get daily free energy just from having friends. You can send them energy, and they can send energy back to you. So that makes grinding a lot more free-to-play friendly, I guess you can say. And you can grind a lot more domains, get better gear at a faster rate. So I really like this system. Honestly, I don't know why the aforementioned games like Genshin and Star Rail have not implemented this system into their friends lists. It will actually make you have a reason to add friends in those games. This next tab I actually think is the tutorial, my bad. And then this one apparently is the journal. Either way, they're not too important, so we're going to skip over those two. This next one is quite important though. This is the world map. You can zoom out. Currently I'm in like a specific city, so we can zoom out. We'll take a look at the larger picture. And as you can see, we have a bunch of nodes. I actually have not explored the majority of the map in this world. It is quite large, not nearly to the extent of something like Genshin, because obviously that game has been out for a while. But for this game, it's pretty decent. And as you can see, some of these nodes, like, let me see if I can show it here. Like these here, these are essentially your waypoint teleporters. This one right here is like those statue of god or goddess statues in Genshin, where if you teleport, or not teleport, you can teleport to them, but if you reach them on foot, it will unlock part of the map for you. So it essentially opens up a new area. Obviously, there's treasure chests all around the world. As you can see, I have not collected a lot of them. There's also even puzzles, which I haven't done much of. And I believe this little icon here is the like collectible readable items in the world, similar to both Genshin and, like I said before, a million times already, Star Rail. If you're into that, I'm not, so that's why we haven't really collected those. And then this last one here, it is like a currency that you can, what do you call it, collect throughout the world. I think I've only collected one so far. And then what you do is you go to this place here, which we'll teleport to real quick. And this is essentially like one of those towers or statues you can feed this currency into, and you'll get rewards. Sort of like the Clocky's Tower in Penacony in Honkai Star Rail, and then the that fountain in, what do you call it? And first, I forgot the name of it. So you basically collect this currency in the world, and as you can see, you can get various different rewards as you level up this statue. You can even get premium currency for pulling. So something you can do during your free time. There's also different nodes on the map, like this is a domain. There's world bosses as well, like this one that we'll go into later. There's even fishing nodes, like I mentioned before. There is fishing in this game. If you're ever bored to the point where you have nothing better to do, you can go fishing in this game, just for fun. I think that pretty much covers everything about the world map. Oh, I guess this is like the Abyss or something. But you can find those through a different tab, so you don't really need to worry about trying to look for everything on the world map unless there's a specific thing or objective you need to complete. Oh, one quick thing before we move on. Let's talk about the energy, since I'm on this page anyways. So for the energy in this game, it's very similar. There's a certain timer, and it regenerates. You can refresh the energy, like I said before, with gems up to 10 times per day. But there's also this currency right here. This is essentially your fuel in this game, similar to Honkai Star Rail. But as you can see, I have 131. By the way, I'm completely free to play. This game gives you a lot of this in the beginning. From just completing quests, leveling up your character, or not character, your, I guess, adventure rank, I guess. You get quite a lot of these. Get these from events as well. So they are very generous when it comes to energy. So it makes grinding gear and materials a lot faster than the previous mentioned games, like I said before. So I'm a big fan of the energy system in this game, at the very least. Alright, let's move on to my character list. I'm just going to go over the ones that I've built and have tested so far. Starting with this character right here. She's an SR, and I'm going to say design-wise, and even actually gameplay-wise, she's very useful. She's a support. She's one of my favorite... No, she's probably just my favorite character in the entire game. I'm just going to say right now. She looks absolutely... Whew, she looks amazing. Anyways, this is... she's a... I guess you can call this the Ranger class, although they more or less, most of them function more as like either supports or sub DPS. Anyways, these are her stats. I have mine really fast, set up like an opener, like I said before. She's a buffer and support. And then I can't really read Korean, of course, but just based on gameplay, I know her skill 3 gives you a crit rate and attack buff that lasts for 3 turns if you skill it up. But yeah, other than that, like I said, guys, there's a language barrier. I can't read everything. It's funny enough, though, I did manage through like just looking at the symbols and through like trying to compare each symbol and what they look like. I did figure out that this right here is a 4-piece speed set. If I can find it real quick. Where's the main stat? Here, there you go. As you can see, this is speed based on this symbol. And then here the symbols match. So it's a 4-piece speed bonus for 22%. So I have her on a speed set. That's why she's so fast. And of course, these things are basically equivalent to your artifacts or light cones. This is apparently her signature one. Once again, I have no idea what the effect is because I cannot read Korean, but we put it on her. Actually, before I move on to the other characters, let me just get this over with. There are 5 different elements: fire, water, earth, or green, whatever you want to call it, and then light. Do I have a dark unit? And dark down here. I only have 1 dark unit. As for the different classes here, like I said, I can't read Korean, but I'm assuming this is the support class based on how this character functions and some of the other characters function. There are a few of the characters of the specific class that do deal a little bit of damage, so I guess it also might be a sub DPS class. The one below this is like the warrior class, your general just damage dealer class that can deal a lot of damage essentially. The one below that is like your debuffer / sorceress class. I do have a character that inflicts DOT that we're going to go over shortly. So this is basically your debuffers. The shield is pretty obvious. It's going to be your tanks / beefy characters, protectors essentially. And then the last one are your healers, or of the healing type support, whether they give healing or any sort of supportive utility to your team. Alright, moving on to the next character. This is basically 5-star bootleg Himeko, and she's of the debuffer class. I know her kit is basically a bunch of DOT, and I believe how DOT works in this game is it's based off your attack percent, of course, and it can only deal a fixed amount of damage based on your attack, and it cannot crit, obviously. Also have her on like a speed set, and I think this is a crit set or something, which is funny because I just said DOT cannot crit, but at the time, I was just testing her build out and seeing if I could build her like a main DPS. It's funny because she is, what do you call it? She's a DOT character, but she has crit traces in her kit, even though her DOT cannot crit. So essentially, you're building something similar to a crit Kafka in Honkai Star Rail, which isn't very effective, but whatever, I had fun playing with her. This character is one of the more recent characters, like the previous patch she was released. I pulled her. She is also of the debuffing class or mage class, and just based from like playtesting, obviously I can't read this, her skills, they're mostly AoE, and she's able to essentially have a chance of pushing back the opponent. She delays their action value. So similar to imaginary characters like Welt in Honkai Star Rail, it's actually pretty useful in PvP. Might not be so good in PvE content, but in PvP content, she's one of the best characters. Here we have a budget Ganyun, but instead of being a damage dealer, she functions as a healer, as you can see, of the water element. She's basically just your very generic fat healer with a lot of HP. Very useful for early game when you need to survive. Got her on like a speed and healer set. I don't think it's a healer set. It literally translates to HP percentage or something along those lines. But yeah, definitely nice to pick her up. Alright, and this dude is like the last character I actually built up and got to playtest. Mine is pretty bad. I did put some gear on him before. Right now he's naked because I took all his gear and put it on this lady because she's hot. He's basically a warrior class, and then he does a lot of damage if you put a lot of investment to him. And I've seen some, or I've done some fights in PvP against well-invested versions of this character, and he basically one-shot my entire team with the proper setup. So this guy, do not sleep on him. He is a absolute amazing damage dealer. All you need to do is actually build him properly and have the right investment. As for the rest of these characters, I pulled them and they all look pretty cool, but I never got the chance to test them out. I guess I did some testing on this character. She was my very first 5-star, this green tank girl here. And her abilities, I sort of understood them. I know her skill 3, you get invincibility for 1 turn. And then her skill 2, you get some sort of barrier that I'm not exactly sure how it works. And then her skill 1 is like it's not AoE, it's like a blast taunt. There's a chance she taunts the enemy. But she's a pretty good kit overall. I never really got the chance to build her up because I did not pull a 4-star light cone for her class, and I didn't really feel like leveling up a 3-star. I'm not a big fan of using 3-star light cones. And then some of these other characters, like this one, this green, I guess, cat-looking girl, is pretty nice looking. This dude is another tank you get for free, by the way, the light element, and I actually see him being used a lot on the higher end PvP. I'm assuming it's because he probably has really good mitigation, low investment as well, and you get him for free, so I feel like it's just a good filler slot for some of those PvP teams. And some of these other characters, like I said, I pulled some pretty cool designs. This is the main character, by the way. When I first started playing the game, there was not a female option. There's actually a female option now, so you can choose between male or female. And some of these other characters here, you get this character skin for free. You don't get her for free. And yeah, you get this character for free. These are just some of the other SRs. You get these 2 for free, I believe. This is the first free healer you get when starting out in the game. But other than that, I didn't have much chance to test out any of the other characters. Even if I did, it probably would have taken me a while to figure out what the hell they actually end up doing in game. Alright, let me go over the gear in this game, or the, I guess, relics if you want to call them that, from Star Rail. They're a little bit different, actually. The maximum enhancement level is actually plus 12 instead of plus 15. And then the different rarities, you don't really, I mean, early on, you're just going to get a bunch of trash rarities. The ones you should really only worry about are the red ones, and then maybe the yellow ones, although it's gotten to a point where yellows are slowly becoming irrelevant as well for me. But the real endgame gear, of course, is the red tier. And some of these pieces, I eventually figured it out, but I don't quite remember right now. Some of them have guaranteed flat stats. I believe this is flat attack guaranteed. This one you can have a percentage in. This is guaranteed flat HP. This one's the one that you can only roll speed as the main stat, so I guess it's your, I guess you can call this your chest piece, but then I wouldn't know what you call that. These are, you can get a few percentage stats on this, and then your boots are guaranteed flat defense as well. The sub-stat rolling also is a bit different in this game, although once you get to red tier, it doesn't really matter, because red tier gear are always guaranteed for substats. That's a really nice thing I like, unlike in Star Rail and Genshin. Even when you get your I guess highest grade relics, there's still a chance that it only comes with 3 substats. But for this game, if you get the red gear, it always comes with 4 substats. The yellow gear, however, always comes with 3 substats, and it's different in this game where there's a chance you actually don't end up rolling a 4th substat. So as you can see here, this one right here, it has only 3 substats, although this one's only plus 6. Let me find a better example. Here you go. This one at plus 12 is fully enhanced, and I did this roll. It rolled 3 times into speed, 1 time into effect hit rate, which is pretty damn good, especially for this character. So it never ended up rolling a 4th substat, even though I maxed it out. I was expecting it to have one, because most of these gacha games for these equipment or relic rolls, they're going to have a 4th substat at some point, whether it's at plus 3 or an epic 7 for whatever reason they like to do it at plus 9. But in this game, there's a chance if you get lucky or unlucky based on how you look at it, you may or may not never get that 4th substat. There's also ways to craft gear in this game as well as re-roll it. We're going to go into that a little bit later on in the video, but we're going to move on from gear and move on to the, I guess, artifacts slash light cones, whatever you want to call them. Of course, they are tied specifically to whichever class you are using. You can equip a light cone or artifact. I guess they're called mementos in this game. You can equip one that isn't the same class as your character. You just won't get the effects. Very similar to Honkai Star Rail. And much like the mentioned games, you also get these from the gacha. There's no way to actually farm these in-game. Although that would be nice if that were possible. Alright, last thing we're going to go over on the character page are the characters, I guess you can call them talents and skills. The outer nodes here, where you get these stats, you can grind for this material here in-game using energy. However, once you get to the actual character skills to level them up, you are going to need duplicates in the form of this, and that, as of right now, can only be obtained, like I said before, through the gacha system by pulling duplicates, or buying it from the shop from pulling duplicates. Either way, you have to basically summon in order to get these said duplicates. Before, you could farm them through various means I'll mention once we get to it, but as of now, it is quite pay to win. I really don't like the system, and it's not like, Eidolons or Constellations in Honkai Star Rail and Genshin, where you don't necessarily need them for the character to function. In this specific game, the character's skills level ups actually do matter. They reduce the cooldown or have the effects upgraded. So it's like essentially, think about like in Honkai Star Rail, if you weren't able to max trace, let's say your DPS because you were lacking duplicates of like someone like Acheron. That would feel really bad. Alright, moving on. I already went over mounts, so we're going to skip that. This is like the clock system in Genshin. I haven't found a use for it. Maybe there's a quest later on that needs me to rewind or fast forward time. Oh, okay, this is the fun part. This is the summoning part, or the banners. Alright, so this right here, I believe is like the beginner summon banner. And I don't think it guarantees you an SSR, but rather it guarantees you this green SR character within, I think it's 20 pulls. It says 10 here because I think I did a 10 pull already, and it's also discounted for only 8 standard summons. In fact, you know what? Let's just give it a test here and see if we actually manage to summon her. I've been holding off because I wanted to show you guys in this video. And if it doesn't turn yellow here, that means we didn't get an SSR. Nope, I'm just going to skip. Yep, we are guaranteed her. So we got a copy of her. And then we also, luckily, got a copy of that support Lycone that I'm using on my favorite support character. So we got 2 SRs, not a bad temple. And I think the banner will actually close once you summon this character. Yeah, it actually closes. So it's similar to the Noelle banner in Genshin Impact. Not the greatest. I'd probably avoid it if you don't really want that character. And even if you want that character, that SR character, you'll eventually pull her through standard summons or even this limited banner summon that I will go into right now. Alright, moving on. This is the limited banner. The rate up limited character is not technically considered limited because once their banner ends, they actually get moved into the pool here of the standard characters. In fact, even the Moonlight characters, this character right here that I showed earlier in my character showcase, was the previous limited character, and now as you can see, you can actually pull them through the standard banner at a very low rate, of course. So this game currently doesn't have any like truly limited characters where they disappear and their banner's gone. You don't get to pull them until they rerun the banner. So that's a little bit different, luckily, and honestly a good thing compared to Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. And how the rates and pity work in this game is a little bit different as well. There's technically not a 50-50, although I guess you could call it a 50-50 if you want to. I don't know the exact odds, but there is a chance you will pull the character. Okay, I guess this is considered a quote-unquote 50-50, but it's not nearly as bad as Star Rail or Genshin, because there's a chance you pull something that is not the limited character. You can pull one of the characters from the standard banner, but that includes the Moonlights as well, so that's pretty nice. The Moonlight characters are really strong. However, the actual pity, you actually can exchange it right here for 120 of this currency, and every pull you do, you earn 1 currency for it, so technically, the pity is at 120. In fact, I'll probably just play a clip of me claiming this 120 pity here very shortly for you guys to actually see. Alright, and here's the video clip of me claiming the pity on the previous limited character. Unfortunately, I did have to hit pity. Feels bad, but that's how you do it. You claim it with 120 of that currency that you do through summons, and you, I guess there is the 50-50 like I mentioned, and holy crap, look at that animation. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that's basically how you pity a character in this game. Alright, moving on. This is the limited signature, I guess, Lycone or Memento, whatever you want to call it. I think the rates are pretty similar. I think you can definitely lose the 50-50. It should be pretty similar. You can definitely pull a off-banner Lycone, which would really suck. And the pity is also 120. So this is actually maybe worse than Star Rail and Genshin. I'm not exactly sure, but it is probably the same rates as the character banner, but 120 pity is definitely not terrible. You can definitely get lucky and pull it before then as well. And this one is the standard banner that you use standard tickets to summon on. And like I said before, it features all the characters except the most recent one, but once their limited banner ends, they will be added to the pool of characters you can summon from here. And there's actually an exchange. You can collect like the previous one before, you can collect these currencies that you get 1 currency per every pull. And eventually, once you hit 200, you can actually get a character of your choice. I was very tempted to get her. She is very nice looking, and she's actually a really good support as well. I see her a lot in some of the top PvP teams. I'm assuming she is probably an action advance or an MP generator of some sort every time I see her getting played. That's usually what the effects end up happening. But yeah, you can pick any of the characters you want with this. There is also a standard banner for light cones, and believe it or not, where you can pull all the standard light cones. Does it feature? It actually does feature the limited light cones from previous characters on the limited banner as well, believe it or not. I believe this was the previous limited or rate-up character's signature Lycone, so that's pretty nice. And you can actually exchange, just like the standard banner. They actually carry over. They share the same currency, so if you don't want a character and you would rather go for a Lycone or a Memento, signature Memento, you can exchange it here for 200 currency as well. So it's a very nice system that's a little bit different from Genshin and Star Rail. Alright, on to the next tab. This is just your team, so we're going to skip that. That's pretty self-explanatory. This is like your daily commissions or daily missions where you can earn gems, very similar to Genshin and Star Rail for the millionth time. And this is like your daily resources you get one time. You can collect it for free. This one is something you build up over time. These are like your expeditions where you send your characters out for various materials. You can claim them every day. And then this one is also very similar, just different resources. So you can also claim this every day as well. Alright, on to the different energy farming modes. Starting with this one, these are essentially your character trace as well as light cone ascension material. They also drop relics or gear, but it only goes up to the yellow grade. You cannot get red tier gear, which is the highest end grade tier gear in the game. You need to actually farm a different mode for that. But this is pretty good for the early to mid game, just to farm gear in general, as well as pick up. Well, you farm this mostly for the trace material, but you can pick up some decent gear along the way. Yeah, there's one for every different class with different sets as well. These are your mini bosses in the world where you farm for ascension material. Yep, so these are mostly used for character ascension. And here, this is the world boss. This is where you farm all your gear, your end game gear. This is the only place, as of right now, that you can get red tier gear. It also has a chance to drop yellow gear, which kind of sucks, but honestly, that's just how these games work. And these bosses are actually pretty tough. I can beat them, but not currently on auto. I actually have to manual them. Maybe when I get better gear or better built characters, I'll be able to actually auto these bosses. And finally, I guess you can call these like your Kalises for Genshin. You basically is just character, Lycone, or Memento EXP, as well as like material that you can use to level up your characters. Although you can farm this in the overworld from killing mobs, so that's not nearly as important. You mostly do this for the character EXP and the Memento EXP. I think this also gives the most credits or gold. So if you are low on that, you can be farming. This is basically what you farm when there's like a double drop event. It currently is on this one instead of the Calyxes, but when there's a double drop event, you'll be farming this, and you'll probably be farming this the majority of the early game. The next tab is actually like the events tab. I can do my daily spin. It's a different event every single patch. Right now we have like this little wheel spinning thing, and it's going to give me, oh, give me the 3. No, I never get the 3,000 gems. It's always gold or like some of the lower tier ones. But anyways, oh, we get 5 free summons here. That's pretty nice. And this is one. This is where you level up. You get rewards for leveling up your adventure rank. As you can see, this is where you get a lot of your fuel from. You get so much fuel from this, from just reaching a higher adventure rank. I'm actually not even at the max adventure rank. The max adventure rank is adventure rank 60. This is like a side story, or it might actually be part of the main story, but you get rewards for it from it. I think you even get a skin as well. Changes depending on each patch and event. Alright, here. This is like one of those grinding events where if you spend energy, you get this currency. Before the big update, or the update that pissed everyone off, they actually gave out some pretty good rewards that you can exchange for. There was actually two or three rewards. One of them was a character dupe, a universal SSR character dupe. The other one was a universal SSR light cone or a memento superimposition duplicate. So you could, like in Genshin and Star Rail, you would need duplicates of a light cone or artifact in order to, or weapon, whatever you want to call it, in order to get them to the next imprint, R level or super imprint, superimposition. In this game, you would have to do that as well, but they also have like a sort of currency that you can use as just a universal mold to count as that duplicate. You could exchange for that as well here. They also have the SR versions for both characters and the light cones as well. So those 4 things were amazing to exchange for. After that patch, they removed it, and now all we have are summons and a bunch of like materials you can pull and some relics, which is still nice, but just having that SSR character dupe, it just made this game way more free-to-play friendly and approachable, unlike right now. So hopefully they bring that back upon global launch. At least I'm praying. This is like an endgame mode. I guess you can call it like a bossing mode. We'll go more into the detail about this once I go into more of the endgame modes. Same with this one. This is like their version of the Abyss. And then this one is the periodic double drop event for the different energy farming modes. Alright, moving on. This tab here is like character friendship. I didn't really go much into it. You might get like bonus stats or something from doing this, but I never bothered with it. This is the important one. This is the battle pass. And here, before the update that pissed everyone off once again, here you get some pretty good rewards, but the most important thing is you get these currencies here that you don't even have to. You get more if you pay for the battle pass, but the free-to-play battle pass, you can also earn this currency every 10 levels. And with that currency, you can exchange. You can't see it anymore because the patch changed it. Before, there was a tab where you can exchange for, once again, an SSR character dupe for only 150 of this currency. And since you earn 50 of this currency every 10 battle pass levels, even free to play, every battle pass season you can exchange for that SSR character dupe. Now you can't even do that. Now you can only exchange for signature light cones or mementos, and it costs 300, so it actually takes 2 battle pass periods to even exchange for one of these signature light cones. So really don't like how they are headed in the direction of this game, so kind of sucks. But before, the battle pass was absolutely amazing. Now you kind of have to spend in order to get some decent rewards, but even then, you no longer get that SSR dupe. Alright, I believe that is it for the menu tab. I'm gonna go over some of the endgame PvE modes real quick, and then we'll slowly touch into the PvP in this game very shortly. The first PvE endgame mode I'd like to talk about is this right here. This is essentially your Abyss in Genshin, or Memory of Chaos in Honkai Star Rail. There's 2 different modes, and they both reset periodically, believe it or not. Unlike the previous games, only the hardest mode resets in this one. The easy and hard mode reset. And they give various rewards depending on your star level. You'll be rewarded with gems if you clear it within a certain amount of star range. And then, of course, just clearing the stage, you get like some very basic rewards like gold, EXP materials, etc., etc. I think in the harder mode, which I have not unlocked and I haven't attempted yet, you actually get bonus energy or something, just for clearing the stage. So you can push that far. It's really nice game mode to progress your account, but it is also very difficult. This next PvE endgame mode is sort of like Simulated or Divergent Universe, sort of, in my opinion, although it more translates to Abyss, according to the language. It is basically like a tower-like mode. You have to select a team of 4. However, once you select that team of 4, you cannot change anyone in that team unless you restart, and you have to start from the very beginning. And if your team dies, you have to also start over from the beginning as well. It kind of sucks. But on the upside is, every time you clear one of these floors, you do get to choose between one of 3 blessings and or buffs. That's why I said it's kind of similar to Simulated Universe or Divergent Universe in Honkai Star Rail. As for the rewards in this, you actually get these materials here. This one right here is sort of like your relic remains, or I guess gear remains. It's used for crafting gear and relics essentially. And then the red tier, or this like diamond looking thing, you can use this to exchange for, one of them is like a variable die in Honkai Star Rail, where you can re-roll your gear's substats. The other one is like your self-modeling resin, where you can pick the main stat of specific gears that you want to craft. And I'm actually going to go over to the crafting smith here and show you guys how it works very shortly here. Alright, so we're at the crafting smith, and as you can see, I have a little bit of these relic remains. We're going to craft a piece of gear. I know for a fact this is a speed set, and then this one here, you can choose speed as the main stat. Once you select speed as the main stat, as you can see, this is what you're going to consume. There's 2 different currencies here, or 2 different things you can exchange for. This one is the one that lets you select the main stat for crafting gear. This is the one that lets you reset the substats. We're going to craft a pair of speed boots real quick and see if it actually does well. Alright, so we're going to craft one. See what substats we get. Crit rate, crit damage, HP. It's not terrible. Wish I had attack. It has flat attack, so we'll go ahead and upgrade this gear and see what it ends up rolling. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade this gear to plus 12 and see how it rolls. If it rolls poorly, then we get to show off the reroll die. And let's see what it is. Okay, I really wish I had this type of luck in Honkai Star Rail when it comes to relics. We're probably not going to reroll this because those are insane rolls. This went, what do you call it? Essentially 3 times in a crit. Why can't I get gear like this in Star Rail? God damn it. 3 times in a crit damage and once in a crit rate. Wow, this is actually insane. Alright, this is probably something I would never do normally on an account I actually cared about. But since this is just like a playtest account on the Korea server, I'm going to show you guys how the reroll die works on this piece of gear right here. Obviously the substats, flat attack, attack percent, defense, kind of all over the place. We'll just show you how it works. Costs some gold, costs this currency obviously. And once you press it, it actually automatically just re-rolls all the stats for you. And then you actually don't, unlike the reroll die in Honkai Star Rail, you can actually choose to keep the stats you, have before if it ends up rolling worse. And I believe this actually ended up rolling worse somehow. But for this one, unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with it. Once you re-roll it, the reroll stats are what you have to keep on this gear. So it's not exactly the best system. Alright, on to the last endgame PvE mode, and I guess you can call this the elemental boss rush of some sort. Basically, you have a elite boss that you have to fight for each of the elements, and once you complete up to a certain stage, there's 10 stages and you have to fight the boss continuously. If you end up failing or your team ends up dying, you can actually restart, not from the beginning, luckily, from the previous highest stage you were at on each boss. And then beating these bosses rewards you with gems as well as ascension material, although you only have to clear up to level 8 to get all the gem rewards. Anything past that is just bonus gold or coins and I guess higher end ascension material if you really need it. Alrighty, this is going to be the last thing I talk about before I end off the video, and that's going to be arena PvP. Believe it or not, unlike the other 2 aforementioned Hoyoverse games, this game actually has some PvP. They don't have RTA or real-time arena yet, it's just AI PvP, which honestly, I'm more of a big fan of. Sometimes I just don't have the feeling or have the urge to do RTA, and I'd rather just do AI PvP or something like Guild Wars as well. And some of the very basic rewards for arena PvP are over here to the left. These are actually, you don't even have to win, these are just participation awards. You just have to do any sort of PvP. You can fight actual people on the ladder, or you can do the NPC challenges to the side here if you're not feeling it. They're very easy to do, and you just have to do it 10 times. I think actually it's because you get 2 every time you play, so it's actually 5 times a day, and then every week you just have to do it 15 times. Doesn't even have to be a win for the gem rewards. In fact, once again, before that update that pissed everyone off, this reward right here was a SSR duplicate, and I will take that any day over 200 gems. 200 gems is the equivalent of 1 summon or 4 or 3 refreshes, I think, for energy, which will never equate to an entire SSR dupe. So I honestly really wish they didn't change this. This is not a good thing for the game at all. But enough of my ranting about that. Moving on. Just like any other arena PvP, you have your defense team right here, and you also have your offense team that you can pick up to fight any of these opponents that you choose to fight. There's also an arena shop that you can use the currency that you got from the daily participation here to buy summons and energy. They didn't change this, luckily. The shop is the same, so you get all these goodies just for participating in the arena. As for the different rankings, there's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and I'm assuming that's like challenger or whatever you want to call it. As for the rank rewards, you get some gems, and once you reach gold, you actually get a free SR mount, which is really nice. Although if you want the SSR mount, you have to hit challenger, which I think is like the top 100 or something in this game, so good luck with that. And this mount actually does give faster speed and dash speed as well, and it looks cooler, so kind of sucks. You gotta be the top end of PvPers in this game, which is probably going to be spenders. So free to play, at least you get a free mount. That's all I gotta say. That's pretty nice. I'm not too mad about this. And then one last important thing about PvP in this game for arena PvP is there's actually technically no limit to the amount of times you can actually fight in arena. They don't have like a ticket system where you have to spend gems or wait for the tickets to refresh every day. You can continuously fight as many times as you want, but you will never fight the same opponent twice. So it's not technically unlimited. Eventually, I guess there will not be enough players, or I guess if you're playing PvP that much, then Jesus Christ. But basically, you don't get to fight the same defending team twice per day. You have to wait until the next day to refresh, but essentially you can play it almost as much as you want and climb as high as you want, or possibly can in this version of PvP. So it's pretty nice for those who really like to grind in arena PvP, or just to test out their teams and improve their gameplay or PvP potential. Alrighty, let's wrap things up. I'm really excited for a global launch, but hopefully they don't launch the game in its current state. As I mentioned before, with that previous patch, it is quite pay to win, and many players have already quit the game in Korea. I hope the developers listen to the player base, as this game has really great potential, at least in my eyes. But other than that, I'll see you guys at global launch, whenever that is. But until then, take care and peace.